Hey Blorbies, welcome back to the Yumi side of YouTube. Today, we're diving into the latest chapter of the One Piece manga, chapter 1131. There's a ton to unpack here, so I'll give a quick recap of where the story left off, and then we'll get into the new developments and some juicy revelations from this week's chapter. Alright, so before we jump into chapter 1131, let's quickly rewind to bring everyone up to speed on what's been happening. Because I'm fairly new to uploading One Piece content, so I'm just jumping right in at this point. But I do plan on going back and getting into some lore with you guys. More on that later. However, in chapter 1129, this is after leaving Egghead, and the crew ended up passing out on the Sunny after a big feast and that absent stuff. Then we saw the Straw Hat crew trying to escape the Sun God's wrath. This is when Nami's navigational skills helped the crew avoid disaster as they navigated through the maze that this so-called Sun God had set up. So we soon learned, though, that this Sun God isn't exactly a Sun God at all. He's actually Road, one of the members of the new giant warrior pirates, who's got some kind of grudge against Luffy and his crew, and just humans in general, we believe. So then in chapter 1130, we get introduced to an even darker side of Elbaf, the underworld. So after Luffy escapes, he senses this powerful Haki, and he runs off to check it out at the bottom of this giant tree, which actually holds the War Island. So Luffy discovers that he's in a hidden part of Elbaf where Loki, the accursed prince, has been held prisoner for over 6 years. So Luffy pulls up and they began to chit-chat when Loki hinted at a mysterious encounter with Shanks, but he's kind of holding back on the details. So meanwhile, the other Straw Hats are in sort of a tricky situation themselves as they get chased across Elbaf, the bridge actually, and they actually see two giants, Gerd and Goldberg. They're also part of the same pirate crew as Road. So, alright, now we are all caught up so we can get into chapter 1131. What a chapter this is. So we finally get to dive deeper into Elbaf's secrets, and Luffy's confrontation with Loki is about to get even more intense. So here's pretty much what went down. So Luffy is ecstatic to be in Elbaf's underworld, despite the whole vibe being completely dark. So after years of dreaming of this place, he's finally here, surrounded by the giants, and even more mysteries await. But he is not alone. Loki, the Prince of Elbaf, is chained to this mythical treasure tree atom, the strongest tree in existence in the One Piece world. And he's bound in with sea stone chains that prevent him from using his accursed devil fruit power. So Loki, of course, tried to make a deal with Luffy, promising to destroy any rival crew in exchange for his freedom. But as you would expect, Luffy is not interested in any sorts of deals. So Loki even goes as far as mentioning Shanks. So he's clearly trying to tempt Luffy in some type of way. But when Loki insults Shanks by calling him a coward, this is when Luffy finally loses his goddamn patience. And then we get a classic Luffy reaction. He doesn't even hold back, gear forth straight to Loki's face. And this scene was just so satisfying. It was a very satisfying moment because if you're a true Luffy fan, you know how protective he is of his friends and his idols, especially when it comes to Shanks. The relationship between Luffy and Shanks runs so deep, and it's clear that Luffy won't stand for anyone disrespecting him. But Loki isn't giving up any information that easily about his encounter with Shanks. Even though he is chained, he actually managed to dodge Luffy's attack though, and he just ends up laughing and he tells Luffy he's really just only kidding. He's only kidding here. So Oda is really making this dark and violent character into possibly one of the funniest Looney Tune-like character ever. We are all in for it though. But however, he is kind of determined to make Luffy free him at first. And honestly, this exchange sets up for so much potential conflict between the two of them. But what do you guys think? Could this mean that Luffy is about to take on more than he bargained for in Elbaf? Can Loki actually outwit Luffy and have him free him? But then, how is Luffy even supposed to get the keys to unlock the Sea Stone? Maybe this is a story about saving Loki, actually. So with that said, let's actually dive into some theories now that 1131 is over. And I have a feeling that the underworld of Elbaf is more than just a prison. It could be where the most powerful secrets of the Giants are kept. And Loki clearly knows something more about Shanks that could be a game changer. But why was Shanks even in Elbaf? What was he looking for? Was it some type of weapon? A legendary artifact maybe? The possibilities are endless. And I think we're in for a real massive surprise. A real massive reveal sometime soon. So, what if Shanks is the reason Loki is chained and prisoned to this tree? They mention Loki has been prisoned on this tree for about 6 years. And if we go back in the One Piece time, Shanks became an emperor right about 6 years ago. So there is this wild speculation that Shanks may have actually cashed in on the bounty of Loki and became an emperor of the sea. But there is no way Loki can actually be transported and kept at Impel Down. So what if this was Shanks' only option because he knew it was the safest place for Loki to be kept until his time in the prophecy when Luffy actually arrives in Elbaf. So Shanks is always working for the greater good, I feel. And if Loki was free all those years ago, I feel like his powers might have been used a bit too soon. And his devil fruit powers will probably play a very crucial role in defeating the world government in the upcoming war. So Shanks actually cashed in on Loki's bounty, it seems, while also keeping Loki away from the government where they could have actually taken that power for themselves. So Shanks is always thinking one step ahead, I would say. But Blorbies, how about the symbolism of the treasure tree atom? It's actually known to be one of the strongest materials in the One Piece world. So it's interesting that Loki, the so-called strongest giant, is chained to it. Remember, there is only 2 ships known to be made out of this treasure tree. The Oro Jackson, sailed by Goldie Roger, and the Thousand Sunny, made by Frankie for the Straw Hats. Which makes me think Frankie sure has some serious links to get that stuff. Oda is definitely trying to say something here. Now guys, before we wrap things up, I do want to address something unexpected that has come up. Unfortunately, we've heard that Oda-sensei has decided to take a break for a couple of weeks. It's rare for him to take unplanned breaks, plus this break comes right after we just had a 2-week break, which makes me think something serious might be going on, although I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Either with his health or maybe with his family. So from all of us in the One Piece community, we just want to wish Oda-sensei a speedy recovery if he needs one, and all the best with whatever is going on or whatever he's going through. We don't know. He's actually working very closely with the live action production in South Africa, but we're not too sure where he's at, what he's doing, but we hope he's good. So we all know he's going to come back stronger than ever, and we'll be right here for the next few chapters when it drops. But in the meantime, let's be patient and send him some good vibes and some prayers. So Blorbies, that's it for today. Let me know what you guys think about chapter 1131 in the comments below. Do you guys have any theories on what Loki might reveal about Shanks or what Luffy's next move will be? And how do you think this Underworld arc will shape up to be? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. And I'll be here covering every chapter, so stick around for more One Piece content. I will also be covering some One Piece lore, getting into the live action, the new animation remake, and getting into even some older episodes, all in the efforts of doing my own share of expanding the fandom of One Piece. And as always, let's keep our fingers crossed for Oda Sensei's safe return. Lord knows that us fans, we can't go too long without new chapters and episodes of One Piece. Some of us really do breed and live One Piece. So guys, thank you so much for watching Blorbies, and I'll see you guys in the next one.